So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to What is the Positive, day 24 of our 30-day challenge and my 29th day challenge since I missed the first one. But anyway, Roland Takaoka here, along with Misty Lynn, and we're sitting here trying to figure out how to get Misty's microphone working. It could be just a condition of Hangouts, or it could be some other technicality. And one thing I learned regarding Misty's general challenge is that she's very busy producing the launch for a new product. So that sounds really good. And what's interesting is there are things happening alongside the challenge for me too. And by the way, I'm watching the chat. So if you have something that you would like me to convey, just go ahead and chat it there. And if it's significant, you can put it into the comment stream, and I can actually post it via a comment tracker because for some reason comment tracker is working fine and so are Hangouts. So I don't know if what the problem what the problem is. Everything's working right. Let's see if I can actually find out if our live broadcast is happening. Checking right now. Let's see if I can actually. Yes, we are live and broadcasting, and it appears that Julie Sager Nierenberg is going to join us momentarily. It says she will be in and out, so maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But anyway, it's interesting what's going on. I'm actually seeing this minuscule change in my hand and my arm. And I'm going to do a video on it sometime here when I get the opportunity. And my index finger is rising to the occasion quite well. And then my thumb is starting to pull a little bit here. And I'm getting a little bit of muscular action going in the back of my hand along my little finger. And so I've got this going on, and I've got this going on, and then I've got this weird pull going on in my little finger. So little by little, I'm reclaiming the physical properties of my body. And along with this, I'm standing a little bit better, and I almost think I want to play the guitar. I want to play the guitar. I want to play the guitar. But I just might be walking before I play the guitar. I don't know. But my body is getting stronger in general in different ways, and that's really appreciated. By the way, I might just be glowing here in a minute because the sun comes in my window. But alongside this stuff that's happening, I'm formulating the concept of my own product and what I'm going to be offering. And I have no idea if I'm going to charge for it or give it away. I have no idea. But I do know what I want to produce now. So that's coming down the pipe. And then also I've met made a friend on the internet, and I've consciously been aware of him for 3 months, and we've been talking for 2 months. And then I found out last night he's been vetting me for a year. He's been watching my show and following my profile and vetting me for a year before he contacted me. I was blown away. And it's like anybody that watches me for a year has probably had enough, and but he's still around, and he chose to contact me, and he's got such a dynamite idea. And so he and I are working together, and we're kind of doing a little stuff. And I am thinking of soaking 90% of my energy into this concept. I mean, it's just way out in left field, and yet it's connected to the heart and soul of what I do. So it's quite interesting, and I can't even talk about it because we've got non-disclosures and all this stuff going on. And yeah, but it's exciting. And this is kind of funny. We're gonna have to take up sign language. Hi. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really sorry that your microphone isn't working, but I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, I can't. I literally can't talk about the product. It's one of those things that if the concept were to come out, um, 90% of the world would say never work. It'll just never work. And then the few percent of the people would hear it and say, "Hmm, by golly, what a great idea!" And then the few people are going to grab onto it. And when it actually goes through, it's going to impress the world. It's going to really, it could change concepts of economy and commerce, and not just e-commerce, but commerce in general, possibly worldwide. So there's a very interesting thing going on. But I never thought I would be grasping onto a concept that would be instantly international because of the nature of what it is. And the good thing is that it fits right into the modus operandi of what my heart and soul is all about. Like Saturday morning marketing smarties, no pitching allowed. You know, you don't have to sell yourself to sell yourself. And we're just going to leave the pitch out, and we're just going to teach everybody about our industry and about what we do. And that's what we do on Saturday morning. But that's generally how I like to approach life. It's like, well, look, if you don't want my services, I don't need to talk about it, you know. And other people lead with the services, like, "Hi, how the hell are you? Here's my business card. Where's yours?" And they make that connection there, and that's not making a connection, you know. And I've always known that, even if I was, um, what do you call it? Uh, Going to meetings, you know, like the LaTip meetings and business concept, you know, networking in person in IRL. And one of the things I used to say is, I don't have to sell myself, but you definitely have to know what my industry is all about and what I do. So, so it was all about, it's always been about education, because until somebody likes you, they don't care what you do. Once they like you, they become open to it. But then at some certain point, they actually need your services. And some of this is filtered through their connection of, oh, yeah, that's right, Roland's a web designer. Okay, well, I need a website. I like him. I pretty much trust him. We get along great. He's never pitched at me. By golly, I'm going to call that guy. And that's the contact that I want. You know, the people who need me, who know what I do, and will reach out to me, not because somebody, not necessarily because somebody just passed me the card, or they saw an ad someplace, um, somewhere saying web design, because what is that worth, you know? But because they have a feeling about me, and they'll know that there's a connection that they can pretty much stand on and take it to the next level. So this whole thing that I'm learning about, our opportunity is right there. It is right there. So solidly that it takes me beyond some of the things that I believe. So I mean, it's just like it opens up all the stuff that I didn't think I could do to affect worldwide anything. And this is the thing. This is the thing that could affect the world. And is it going to um, end starvation? No. Is it going to end the war? No. But it's definitely going to be a big light on e-commerce and in the world, and the way we conduct business and relationships. It's going to be completely different. And I've been working on this thing for. Are you getting tired of listening to me? Oh, let's see. The way this works is I'm talking, but the people should know that you're there too. So I'm going to white box you, and you are now the center screen and front and center. Whether you can, yeah, well, you know, yeah, no, 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 no. I know that you're always very eloquent and vocal, and you deserve to be on the screen too. So I'm just going to put you up there, and maybe you can figure out how to sign the language to everybody. Okay, but anyway, okay, I'll take you off now. I don't want you shaking your head. Okay, but anyway, there's a lot going on in my life, no doubt, but it feels like this is the type of thing. Okay, Roland, you got to pull all stops and stand on something every once in a while. And this is the type of thing that I just might do that. And it could be the one small thing. Well, it won't be small if we do it, but it could be the one move that I make that is more, what should I say, more all encompassing for what I stand for than maybe anything else that I could do. Because for a long time now, I've realized that whatever I'm going to be doing, and I'm trying to avoid the sunlight here. Anyway, whatever I'm going to be doing, I know I can't separate my conscious thought about spirituality and humanity and those things. I cannot divide business and my pleasure. I can't. Because if I'm not having fun what I'm doing, it's not pleasurable. I'm not going to do business in that field. And if I'm doing business where I love the business, but I don't like the interaction with the people, that's also going to put a big wrench in my machinery. But if I can enjoy what I'm doing and if I'm helping people and the relationships are good and that starts to build, I don't care how small it is, if that builds, then I'm in. And that's what I've been doing with the Smarties. Are we a really big show? No. But I've got a little handful of people who like what they hear and they keep coming back. And they're more of a family for me than what I built locally in Southern Orange County for a decade. These people mean more to me than that. So it's kind of cool. I really like it. But this next thing I'm doing has the opportunity, has the potential of growing way beyond what I could ever even imagine. And I've got a pretty good imagination. So we'll see what happens anyway. Anyway, I'm excited about it. So, how about your product? I wasn't able to tell you much about mine, but if you type a few couple things into the chat, I will vocalize it for the world. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maybe that's not worth trying to pursue. And I know that you're happy to be here and just listen in, but I just want to be able to offer you some opportunity and way of expressing if you'd like to. Also, WeWake has joined me on most of these days, but let's see. So funny, he came on about just before 9 o'clock and said, "You're making me shave now," because I mentioned shaving, and I didn't shave. I didn't shave at all, but I mentioned it, and he thought, "Oh, he's going to make me shave now." Let's see what it is for people caring for a loved one near death. It is information about hospice. Oh, that's very cool. Did you ever get to talk to Lynn Sanders about her concept too? Oh, that's great. And so that might be really a nice connection for you. And she's trying to expand out into the promotion of her video too. And so it's a decent little video. Let's see, we've edited and produced our hospice series, interviews so people considering hospice can meet the team before making hospice decision. Once we get rolling, we plan to connect with Lynn. Great. I'd love to see that happen, and I hope that it's beneficial for the both of you. Lynn is a great person. She has become such a friend. We talk just about, well, several times a week, and I'm helping her out with her website and stuff. And her family took a vacation. Where do they come? Southern California. So I got to drive out with my wife and meet them. We had a hell of a time, quite an ordeal. I almost made a video on our experience, but they've just become really good friends. She and her husband Joel, Lynn and Joel are very, very, very cool people, and it surprises me how you can meet someone on the other side of the globe somewhere, or across the United States on another continent, and then suddenly feel so close to those people. Let's see. Yeah, I like what you do, Misty. I like what you do. And Lynn is going through so much. I don't know how she keeps going, but whenever we talk, and we talk, as I said, a couple times a week or sometimes every day, but whenever I talk to her, she'll tell me about what's going on. And then I just encourage her. So now, what are you doing for yourself? You need to take a break. You need to take a deep breath. You need to get some sleep. You need to treat yourself to your favorite Starbucks. You have to do something for yourself. You know, we're looking forward to working with Lynn once we got this figured out. Yeah. And if you strive to figure it out, you'll figure it out. I am convinced that the universe, what's the word? Um, well, when you want the word, it's never there. You got to reach the universe conspires in our favor. I believe it. When they say the whole basic Christian philosophy of whatever you give out comes back to you or returns to you, that whole philosophy regarding that, I believe it. It's a very simple thing. So if people are being positive, what this my show, What is the Positive, is all about. If they're being positive, they're going to get positivity back. So if we can do that, if we can help people learn how to be positive, it's going to change their lives. It's going to definitely change their lives. And for me, I'm so much in tune with your message because I think I had my own kind of a near-death experience by basically finding myself in my hospital bed for 3 months and wondering, is there any future as I thought of it before I wound up in the hospital? I had all these aspirations and plans, and wanted to play my guitar in a band. I wanted to play racquetball 2 or 3 times a week, and I wanted to do a lot of things. But all of a sudden, it was like, nope, 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 nope. And then from there, it was like, well, my training for decades now has been do what you can, not what you can't. And the newer mantras that I learned, like do what you can with what you've got from where you are, like Mike Dooley says. And it's just like wherever you are, that is your point of power. We were talking about this in our session, our last session of What is the Positive. All your power is in the now, and I know that you see this too. But so many people live in the past. Now it's so much more vivid to me what that means. When I look around and I see people thinking about, dwelling on, worrying, and upset, depressed, upset, depressed, and those things, that is all living in the past. That's all of it living in the past. And your attachment to it and how you feel about it, it's making you depressed, making you sad, making you angry, making you worrying. Worrying steps into the future, and that's the same thing. That's the same problem. It's stepping out of the present and living in this space that you have absolutely no control of right now. And we worry about it, but worrying never really helps anything. So people listen. People have discussions with me and say, "How can you not be angry? How can you not be this? How can you?" And it's like, because I'm not. Because right now I'm thinking about the solution or what we can do, or I'm waiting. I read a book called "Stranger in a Strange Land" by Robert Heinlein. Did you ever get to read that? Oh, you've been typing away at me, and I haven't even been reading. Oh, I'm gonna get to the interview that you had yesterday. I'm catching up gradually. I've got so many things going on. Let's see. Insights about death and living, about living in the present. Oh, I'm gonna listen to that for sure. Yeah, that's good stuff. But living in the present, when they say you got to be here now, the whole concept of the be here now is really tough for people because we're so practiced and and just really bound to not live in the present, to worry about the future, and to be angry or attached to the past. And I'm really looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to the expansion of it, but I'm thinking about I am expanding now into what I picture tomorrow will be. And spiritually, we're not limited to just what's happening physically. So I'm expanding into what I intend and what I want and desire. Wow, I'm getting pinged on someone completely out of our. Oh, wow, this is William Rock. Didn't even invite him, but here he is. So I'll invite him in. Sure, everybody's welcome to what is the positive. So William, if you're watching right now, you're welcome to bop on in. I sent you the link. Oh, there he is. Yo, William.
How are you, my
So,
friend?
William, if you're watching right now, you're welcome to bop on in. I sent you the link. Oh, there he is. Yo, William.
I can't come on you, my friend.
So,
William,
if you're watching.
there it is. I had to shut that off. You know, a blooper from the pro, right?
Don't we love it?
But you know what? We're always experimenting. Roland, I had no idea that you were
What's that? What's that, sir? What did you have no idea?
that you were wheelchair bound.
Wow. Yeah, I don't.
Destined for that, and that's where the motivation comes from. It's our passion to one day walk again. I was on a wheelchair, or almost wheelchair, crutch, so a cane, and a walker for a while because I could not stand up. I was falling all the time, and every time I fell, I would just get hurt over and over.
Oh, I believe that.
I'd land on my right shoulder, right, and so the fear was from my family. Okay, he's not going to go into a wheelchair. He's not going to even support the walker that was given to him by the doctor. So how do we protect him? And that's where I started to build that one app I told you about a long time ago. I've fallen and I can't get up. It's not the necklace. It's basically a detection system in case I did fall.
Really?
It alerts people. And so, I suffer from, and I'm not going to go on camera, but you know me, I'm shy. When
Hey, Misty did it. I did it. I didn't shave today. It's all right. It's all right.
But my thing is like, wow, all this stuff that you're sharing, what is the positive? And I think there's so much that we can go from the what is the positive. I went from being completely medicated, going to get into a wheelchair. I was on some of the highest doses of medication. I know we're being recorded. And to me, I have a spinal cord stimulator, 4 installations. So now I'm actually what I have is CRPS, fibromyalgia. So
Okay.
chronic pain at the highest level, and I just randomly fall. And that's where I was starting to develop. Okay, what kind of technology can I, provide my family that lets them know that I'm okay? I'm speaking. If I was to get, I've gone only recently on plane trips because it's very painful, right? To go from one location, and then what is the situation going to be in that environment, and then how am I going to be when I come back? And it's like, do I want to be in chronic pain even more by speaking, or so anyhow? But I had no idea, Roland, that you were in a wheelchair, and it's like, wow. But that's the same thing. People don't realize William Rock has actually got CRPS. Myalgia times 10, which is amazing, but I don't take half the medicine anymore because, I went through all the withdrawals, but people don't realize it, and that's where I'm building a site in the future called, Living Through the Pain. Because we're not in pain, we're living through it. if we can focus on the positive, going back to your message, we can actually overcome just about anything.
I
I
believe
believe
that.
that. And that's where, like 2 years ago, Roland, I was destined, again, to wheelchair. I was coaching CEOs at that time. I was the smartest guy in my industry. I was bought by credit card processors, data centers. I mean, the list goes on. You can see it on my LinkedIn profile. But at the same time as I plateaued and then I dropped because of my pain. And that was also due to a little bit of medication and all that stuff. But coming off of that, that's a different, I guess it's a different, like, how do we do that? We should, but we can't. And through exercise, I've really, even like the stretches, like I've got like pain in my shoulders because of the spinal cord stimulator, but my chiropractor is teaching me different stretches that will help to strengthen those areas where I won't have the pain. I think that's different than most. I mean, meditation for me is also key. So I'm gonna be quiet for a minute because I think I'm a chatterbox at this point.
That's all right, but before you it was me, so
Well, here's the thing, Roland. I mean, you always have. I've been on your show many times, but most of the time I'm talking about one particular topic, which is Google Panda, Google Panda algorithms. How do we rank as companies? But you've seen me on all sorts of different shows trying to also learn from some of these experts that we have on Google Plus, and simple things like meditation, breathing exercises. My my doctors were like, "Wow, you're learning this from who?" And they were interested. Now, how do you cause that same thing to happen in? Doesn't matter what disability you have. How do you bring the positive back to your human to create the rest of the future for you? I mean, I wasn't walking. I mean, I went to Googleplex in October, but I wasn't prepared for that. I was because I was walking every day, but I was only doing like 8,000 steps per day or maybe 9. And when I was at the Googleplex for 3 days, I
oh
was
wow.
doing I was doing 14 to 18,000 steps. It's like, wow, how did I pull that off? It's because everybody on Google Plus I've had so many private, hangouts like this, but this is not private, but at the same time as the support system is there.
Yes.
It's just amazing when you start to connect with people. And Roland, like I said, I had no idea you're in the same, not same boat, but at the same time as I had no idea. You're just a great marketer, just like me. It's like, okay, we're just great marketers, but it's a personal level. And it's the
Yeah.
connection that we make on the system that Google has given us. It could have been Facebook, Twitter, or anything else, but it's the mode. How do
Yes.
you use that and help others? And that's where even some of the charities that I'm supporting with Molly, how do we take the charities, the 501c3s, and also international to make a same template and help everyone with all the knowledge we all have. That's free from us to give, but at the same time as that is, I feel like I'm like put on this earth for a reason to just teach, and I'm gonna
Yes.
make mistakes. I am. So I
I hear you loud and clear, dude. And when I think about internet marketing as my focus and the focal point of my outreach up to this point, I really think the reason I did it was because I wanted to help small businesses that don't know where to start get a foothold on something to do. And if they get started, they're going to realize, hey, I can do this. And they'll take on a little bit more and a little bit more and meet other people and partner up and get some help and get guidance and learn the rudimentary things that are going to make their lead towards success.
and
That was my intention.
and learn from other failures. I mean, even as Molly speaks all that stuff, I speak all that, but I always say, oh, I failed at this. I'm not embarrassed to fail. I'm learning, you know, and if I fail, I'm only helping everybody else.
I have yes, absolutely. And I have an interesting perspective on failure. There is no such thing because we didn't stop when we reached that
It's called,
particular impasse.
it's learning.
Yeah, it's just a signpost in the road. It's like, well, you got to go here instead, so take a right instead of the left, and now redirect. But you just keep on your journey. You got to keep on going. And sometimes you've got a radical turn. Sometimes you do an about face, but you keep on your journey. And an
You,
about face is not a failure.
well, my doctors were always teasing me, and not really teasing me, but challenging me at the same time. Why are you walking in the snow, William? Well, because I have the gear to support that. Well, why are you walking in the hail? Well, because I have support. I mean, yeah, you can't really resist, but at the same time is I have technology that gives me that advantage of go, here's a window of time that you can actually walk. If
Yeah. Well, it's not about the technology. It's not that stuff. It's like, do you want to walk? There's a way. If you want to walk, there's a way to walk.
and
And people have proved it far beyond what my disability is or whatever. If they want to walk, they're going to find a way to walk. And sometimes it's with mechanical extras, sometimes it's motorized somehow. But people achieve where they want to go if they really, really want to.
it's a
And
motivation. You have to experience it yourself, right? Like you said, it's different for everybody. What is that going to push you to the next level to make? Like for me, I walked. I could only walk like 200 steps, I think, at the time, and I kept doing the 200-step repetition, and finally I was able to make it to the Starbucks to go get coffee. I'm like, oh,
yay!
I can walk there first and not drive there. And then I went further than that. I'm like, okay, so I got to the Starbucks, but there's like this quick trip, not quick, but like zips, right? I'm like, wow. I wonder if I can get to that and just get a tea, and then see if I can walk back. I mean, I take a break in between, of course, for like at least for a while. Tears. You're like, okay, I can make it. I can make it. You stop. It's not the tea. It's just the. I guess it's repetition, but yeah, I guess it is the sweet tea or non-sweet tea that has motivated me to go. Okay, I have to get that. If I don't get that, I'm not satisfied, even though I got the steps in. It's like
Yeah,
those personal goals. You just like, oh, if I didn't reach it, now I got to get it. You know,
yeah,
and
I agree.
it's using one property, but it's the same thing. It's completion of sale, like even e-commerce. It's like, okay, how did I get there? What did my visitor experience react to? And then did I actually complete the sale by a phone call or a contact page? Same concept. Okay, I got there. I made the
Got there.
transaction, and that transaction was a tea or water, whatever it might be.
See, now we're talking about the concept of motivation versus inspiration. And the thing that I've been sharing in my show is inspiration trumps motivation any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Because when you get inspired, you go beyond the I really wish I had this thing. You get to the point where it's like I see it in my mind. I know I'll have trouble convincing everybody else, but I know I can do this if
Yeah,
I really want to. And you get inspired. It's like I see it. And when you get to that point, anything's possible. So what I do in the show, What is Positive, I do two things, okay? I want people to turn away from their problem or away from their pain. And I know that's asking a lot. Is really, well, you would know if anybody does, to turn away from that and still strive beyond it. And you have achieved in spite of your pain. So I'm hoping to share the message that you have to look beyond and you have to look elsewhere other than the pain, the sadness, the negativity. So we turn towards the positive. It's a very simple thing, but it is the polarity of just, well, what can I do? that changes the vibration of your entire being. And
Yes.
I believe that healing happens when the person is spiritually ready, and the person spiritually heals is going to reflect in the physical body. So if you're dwelling in your pain and you're dwelling in negativity,
You're
guess
stuck.
what? You're not going to heal.
No, you're going to be stuck in that same motion. And that's
Right.
where, when I coach for CRPS or fibromyalgia, the pain scale, if you do a search for CRPS pain scale, it is it is relatively one of the worst pains you can go through. I don't understand it completely, other than the fact I hurt 24 hours a day. But
Wow.
you have to like you said, it's like I have a like even the walk. For me, there's one thing. It's going to be something for somebody else. I enjoy walking, but now what I enjoy doing is taking pictures of some of the actual wildlife and flowers, or just random moments that just come up on my walk,
That
which,
is very cool.
it's like, okay, well, how do I use this not for negativity but positive? I'm gonna take a walk every day at 11 o'clock, and I come back and I go back to work. You know, I work out of the house, so it's different, but again, it wasn't like that before. And so it's a little bit psychological, because you're in the moment, right? You're there, you're seeing, like for me, the Eagles. I had two Eagles fly by today.
Wow.
Wow. I saw two bald eagles, and then I saw all sorts of, what else did I see? And so if I go back into my mind when I sit down and relax and I don't go back to work after I get off my walk. I sit down, I relax to some music, and I meditate, I breathe. Breathing exercise is just important for people with CRPS. Because not only does it, or anybody in pain, it just helps to relax. If you can focus on at least 10 minutes of breathing and then go back to your normal function, you're going to see that your brain's going to be able to recover from that walk. Even though you put yourself in that pain state, you're back to the positive.
The body tends to compensate, recover, and overcompensate. In other words, that's what muscle building is all about. And building up your body is like the exercise gives you a chance to build it further. And that's how the body responds.
It's
In just naturally.
amazing. So we have who do we have Misty. So we haven't actually talked to Misty. Misty, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute, okay?
Hey, let's watch Misty move her mouth for a while. Unfortunately, her microphone isn't working, and so she's been typing messages to me. And if you want to,
No, sorry about that. Yeah. No.
if you want to access your message center in the Hangout, you can see some of the comments that she's made. And her last one, I haven't showered yet, so you're seeing a bedhead. Well, I'm a bedhead. Well, not exactly. I did run the brush through my hair, and between amongst us, I can say I often get out of bed, climb into my wheelchair, and I've got a computer right there. I got my laptop set up, so I start doing my business there. And then before I do a hangout, I come out here so the light can shine on me, so I can glow for everybody. No, actually, it's this right here is why I don't do hangouts before 11, because from 11 on, the sun moves just enough so that it's no longer on me. But anyway, what we were saying about the the uh, the pain and the motivation and that stuff. The what I hope to achieve with this show is to show people a little bit of joy, a little bit of love, a little bit of uplift, and just a change of the vibration. That's why it's called What is the Positive? Doesn't matter where you are, you can turn towards the positive. And when you turn towards the positive, you're changing your physiology, you're changing your physicality, just because you changed your thinking and the polarity of your spirit. So If people watch the show and say, "Oh, that was a funny joke that Roland said," or uh, George said something really funny, he's a comic relief guy, ha ha ha, and it's like if they smile, if they feel better, if they like the show at all, then we're already doing our job. We're already achieving part of what I'm trying to achieve. But if we give them the sense that, guess what? You can do anything that you want to. Now, that's obviously the higher message.
That's the higher message. But at the same time, we're being real. We are
Yeah,
who we are.
absolutely.
Having an audience that basically around us on who is the positive and looking for the opportunities. I mean, I do a lot of, I hate to interrupt you, but I do a lot of like coaching with people. Not You're not going to see me in my name in these things, but they're private helping. I mean, people are in hospital chairs, they're in beds, and there's really cool like stands for your iPad or your tablet so they can actually still interact in a private hangout. Like, just like we're doing now, but it's now private. Now
Yep.
you can actually be looking straight up and having a conversation with people that have the same illness than they do. And it helps them because, I mean, so many times where I'm in a hospital virtually to so many people. They're laying on the floor with a pillow propped up with an iPad laying down. Their families put there so they can still see and they can still, use their hand to touch. But when you start to see the smiles, it's like we don't have to be public to everybody, but we can still have a support group. And I think that's also where I started, Roland, which I didn't tell everybody before about my pain. It was my shy moment. Yes, I'm going to be an expert, but every time I brought up my pain, I'm no longer that expert. They're focused on, oh man, how do I help you?
Poor William.
You know what I mean? And so when you get to that, and there's so many others out there just like us that I'm just grateful that you're doing this, Roland, for others.
Thank you. And if nothing else, we can be our own best examples of something just by showing people who we are. And what I achieved for it's God, I can't believe it. It's been a year and 4 months, and I didn't know jack shit when we started. But I've become pretty fluent with Google Hangouts. And by the way, I'm going to stick with Google Hangouts. If I have to go to Blab, I will. But I like Hangouts.
Yeah,
And
I love Hangouts. I haven't hosted a blab yet, but I get more out of Google than I do any other platform. And I don't know how
agreed.
you, but
Agreed.
that's where
And I think that there are things coming down the pipe that may change the way we do things in Google and in Hangouts. So that being said, we'll wait and see, and I'll be happy either way. If I go to Blab, that's fine.
it's
And
the platform we choose. But at the same time, hopefully, Google is going to stay the same way. I think that there's a really good support system with inside there. And now with their collections and their communities focus, I think that we don't have to follow the person, but we can follow the topic.
eventually, where it's important, they're going to find you if they need to.
Hmm.
They're gonna find you if they need to. But you have to. It's all about the product and what your service and what you're providing of value. And if people would focus that and get off the whole platform of got to make a sale, got to make money, got to convert, I got to close the deal. If they
Yeah.
get off that, all the negativity of what they do for business would go away.
Well, and
Would go away.
that's what I teach, Roland, though. I mean, you've seen some of the classes that I've done. My focus with corporate, corporate is so tight. I won't work for corporate again. I'll be a consultant for corporate. But,
Agreed.
at the same time is I learned a lot being in that environment and being fast-paced, this. You have these answers. You have this CEO, this executive you have to hit within like 5 minutes. and be on target, right, with your presentation. But at the same time, is when you go back to the conversions, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Are they focused? Is there a way to improve that? I think that site audits are going to be, even more important coming 2017, 18 in the future. But if you don't know what you're currently doing, you don't know how to go forward in your business.
Precisely. If metrics have a place, it's to measure and determine where you are, not so much what you have to do, but you have to know where you are. You got to find yourself on the four-dimensional map before you can plot a course. And so much of the time people don't even have a structure and they want to go, where should I go? Well, you got to start somewhere. So that's where the Smarties show comes in. Where we start.
Overwhelmed, Roland. Most of these corporate executives are overwhelmed. They got too many things going on. But then you look back to the experts. I don't care if I'm an expert that's disabled. You know, I still have an answer, and they're listening to that. I think it's not just I don't even know how to say it. People are learning, and
Yeah.
learning quickly. Now, who are they going to be watching is going to be important for a company, right? Because there's good things and there's bad things. So that's where Google
Absolutely.
algorithms come in play. Bing algorithms, Yahoo algorithms, all those different search engines have something different to offer you, but how do you use it to the core advantage and helping? And for me right now, I'm actually focused with Molly Youngblood. She's she's actually teaching me how to actually do work with Google Grants. I mean, I'm so accustomed with Google AdWords. There's like, wow, I have limitations, but I also I'm getting $10,000 a month if I was working up to it, right? But I have to have these things like a certain click through rate, so like 1% click through. I think it's 1%. But at the same time, is most companies have a hard time getting 1% click through rate. So it really goes back to, okay, how do I fine tune this algorithm even though I've got a search ad and I can't do all the other things they've got, but they're giving me this amount for my nonprofit? How can I help CRPS? How can I help fibromyalgia? How can I help other organizations grow through technology? And that's where I want to teach versus corporate. I mean, that's easy stuff for me. Now, let's teach the nonprofits that are supporting people like myself, where I have a disability, yes, but again, they're nonprofit. How do we actually teach them the simple things?
I concluded a couple years ago that what people had to do was start up their own weekly show. I didn't have one myself, but I concluded that that was the way that they're going to get the word out. And that social media being what it is, video being what it is, you had to have a video show. I mean, that was the ultimate thing. And now people say, oh, yeah, you should have a podcast. And the podcast is better because you can reach more people. And the radio effect and not having to be seen on video means you can use less bandwidth and you can reach more people and blah, blah, blah. And what I saw reflected was the whole attitude of marketing in the vein of advertising, not connecting, not building relationships, and not being real to the people, and not having a two-way conversation that actually supports the relationships and enables people to speak to us, not just me to you. In other words, broadcasting, one-way broadcasting, but actually an interchange that allowed the people a voice. And that is why I went to Hangouts. I didn't know what I was doing a year and 4 months ago when I started this, but now I've got, 60, 70 shows under my belt that I can repurpose and restructure to use for something, and there are a lot of them that are very valuable. So it's created all this experience,
And
and I figured I did it for nothing. Nobody paid me to do it, and I did not have to buy an expensive microphone and expensive camera. I did it with what it's all back to the do what you can with where you are from with what you got.
That's so amazing to me, Roland, because that's what Molly and I teach. It's just basically how do you do something, even the nonprofits. Okay, we don't have a lot of money to work with nonprofits, right? But how can they utilize technology and things that like you speak, Molly speaks, others in the industry speak, and how can we learn from all of that? Okay, so there's going to be mistakes on the way. Don't like focus on it. How do you focus on the future? How do you keep going? Um, like Hangouts. Okay, there's so many different opportunities. There's GoToMeeting. There's Twitter Hangouts, which is Blab. But I mean, Facebook stuff. So the list goes on of what you could possibly do. I think it goes back to where are your people? How are you going to actually be branded to yourself? I mean, I've been doing this for my own profile, William Rock, but at the same time, always focused on how do I make something help a nonprofit first, and then I can go, okay, so you have no money, I'm volunteering most of my time to you, but here's what I want to see from you, just like corporate.
Yeah. William, we're going to continue with this conversation, but Misty has to say goodbye, so we're going to say aloha to her for the day. And thank you so much for joining me. I would have been sitting here for the first 20 minutes by myself wondering what I was going to say, but gladly I was able to say the things to you and share the spirit of what's going on. Thank you very much, Misty. Thank you. So we'll see you soon, okay? Okay, so William, it's just you and me, and I've got a few more minutes so we can hang in.
We got about like 6 minutes, right? There's a lot of stuff we can cover. Okay, so bring me up. What else? Because you've got my motivation. You've got my, like, I could be, right now, I'll tell you what my pain scale is. I'm at an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
So pretty high scale, but still normal. If you were to ask me this 2 years ago, before I was starting to walk, every single day my doctors get on my case, right? It's like, why are you walking in the snow and the rain? Well, because again, I have the gear, but it's a purpose, it's a mission. If I don't finish that piece every day, I feel like I'm lacking, and I feel like I'm lacking because my shoulders. If I don't do certain, I guess I can say publicly that I look funny when I walk because I put my hands out, and let my muscles stretch a little bit. And I'm one of those walkers that just show up. And it's like, oh, cool. I'm walking. Oh, it's cold. Yeah, I'm still doing the same exact routine. If you can stay consistent and have that end goal, you can do anything you want. It doesn't matter if you're just walking, rolling like you. You could just be cruising to the store, but that's still going to give you a workout.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a lot of friends with wheelchairs. I even at Disneyland, I couldn't put myself into one. I was like, okay, I'm going to walk with a cane. But every time I did that, I put myself in more pain. It was not cool around the family because at the end of the day, I'm done, right?
Right.
I'm grumpy. It hurts. I can't, medication's not curing it. I should have done the other way.
My choices and my journey, if you will, is much different from yours. Before I ended up here, I was doing DJ entertainment. So I would do uh, weddings and special events where I set up my own sound system by myself. I'm an idiot. So I've got, 4 sets of speakers and huge subwoofers, and I'm plugging all this in and getting on my hands and knees and laying out the cables and taping them down on the floor and carrying the stuff in and out of my vehicle to set up this stuff, with a dolly and with, in my bare hands. And so I was pretty much tearing myself up. So I had bad knees. I have horrible knees. and they probably both need to be built up. And then in between my DJ gigs, which were very often every weekend until the last couple of years, and then in between Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'd play racquetball for 2 or 3
Oh,
hours, and
geez.
just and
Yep.
tear ourselves up even further, right? But people would be looking at me, and gradually, after the couple of years of this, they look at me and say, "Roland, I just saw you run across the court." I said, "Well, you got to play the ball."
No, you
And
can't miss that sucker. It's got if it doesn't play right, you just can't win. I mean, I've been
so
there.
I got really good at certain shots that I knew would work depending upon who I was playing and what was going
You
on.
figured out the racket. That's what you did.
Yeah, I had this one shot that I would take off the back wall, so the ball would be almost dead from.
Almost a dead ball. Yep. You can't even like almost miss it. But
Yeah, well, you can't
yes,
get behind it to hit it to the front wall, right? So
exactly.
I would dig in at a different angle and smack the ball into the side wall, angled toward the front wall. So
Because
it would come
yep,
out
it's
of
not.
the corner from the
Yep.
far back corner. It would angle and go to the front wall and die in the front left corner. And people would say, "Oh, dude, that was freaking wicked!" What a wicked shot! Damn.
Crazy.
And
It went fast when it hit that other wall, didn't it? And then
yeah,
just done. Yeah.
what happens? It comes off the sidewall and goes kind of floats to the front wall, and then it just dies in the front
Yep.
left corner.
Right in front of that little what is it? The line. Maybe
Yeah,
dead. Yeah. So
coming out at an angle with no power, and the guy's standing there. And what's funny is people's reactions are slow. So when they see the ball going forward, they don't realize, okay, well, it's going to the front wall, and then it hits and dies, and they go, "Oh my god, I should have been there." So
well,
they're
and that's
rushing.
this. You can do the same thing. You can drop it right in that front piece, and it can be completely dead. And they're like, "Oh, where did it go?" Yeah,
I love I love the
high
side.
school tennis.
Yeah, I love the sidewall front wall shot. So anyway, I was very much inspired to play racquetball and to tear my knees up even further. However, my knees were so bad that when I did my gigs, it was like very painful.
Hurting. Yeah.
And not to measure the pain against what you go through, but I had bad knees. It was just at the end of the day, I was extremely happy to be off my feet and get home, unload my equipment, park the car, and just try to get up the stairs. And stairs were hell. And
Yeah, that's why we don't do stairs. I can't because I fall. I'm one of those people that fall upstairs and fall downstairs.
oh,
So I understand that one 100%. Especially if you got an apartment. Some places got like 3 or 4 flights of stairs. You're like,
oh, I know.
whew, no way. Give me like one pair of the stairs, I'm done.
My manly claim to fame was about a decade ago when I've already had bad knees, and my two stepsons and I were going to carry this upright piano up all these steps.
Oh my goodness.
And they were on the third freaking floor. And I'm going, you got to be shit me. You're going to lift this, maybe a 250-pound, 300-pound piano, and we're going to carry it upstairs. And we said, how the hell are we going to get it up there? And we thought about it for an hour, you know, and finally we tried picking it up just to see the weight. And once we picked it up once and just set it back down, it was like, oh shit, we have a problem.
Yeah. Did you guys
So,
did you guys stand it upright without the legs? So you guys went up with you had to take the legs off, right?
no, it's
Oh,
a boxed upright,
yeah.
an upright piano. So the back of the piano is a solid board, and the sides of the piano are solid pieces of wood, and it's all connected like a cabinet, and no legs to take off.
Yeah. Yeah, those are ones that are tough.
And so inevitably I said, okay, look, you guys get the top end because you're going to be bending way over and pulling it up step at a time. And while we're doing this, I will sustain the back end because I don't have to bend my back because there's no way I could do that if I
Unless,
had to.
unless it comes back down at you, then you got problems.
That was my agenda. It's like somebody's got to be the root of the whole thing and just sustain it. If you have to set it down, you can set it down on the step, but whoever's on the bottom cannot set this down.
No, no, no. Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll take the bottom end. You guys just get it up the steps as fast as you can. I figured the young guys will recover and their backs better than I will if we hurt ourselves. So we got it up there, but there were two or three times, especially at the various levels, when you get to the level and you have to work it around and reposition to go upstairs again, because they're zigzagging back and forth, right? And there were times, man, I just thought, I can't believe I got 2 flights to go. And then I can't believe I've got one more flight to go. We got to the top and set it down. I was like, shit. And then they realized, oh my God, I just realized that Roland hasn't been able to put it down once in 3 flights of steps. I was like, what the hell did you think was going to happen? And
But you know what? We remember those moments. It's like me.
yeah,
I shouldn't have saved the child. I should have saved. I saved a 4-year-old child from hitting trees as a ski instructor. Everybody goes, "Well, you should have just let her go." I'm like, no, this is a child getting trees. No, I'm a racer. I used to do this professionally. I'm going to catch the kid, and I'm going to 5 feet from the trees. I still hit the trees. That was my overmark. I stopped being a firefighter, stopped being a paramedic, stopped being everything. It just, whoa, changes your life, I mean, how do you recover from that? And that's kind of where we're in now. It's like, we're having fun. Like, I love my stories, your stories. It's like, okay, we're live still, but people are going to listen to this later and go, I think I relate to that because it's not my story, but I got one too.
yeah, absolutely. And then they become inspired because they say, well, maybe I don't have it so bad. Maybe I could try a little harder. Maybe I could find a way. And as soon as they start looking for opportunities, the opportunities come. But as long as they're sitting there in their sad beer, the opportunity is nowhere. That is the opportunity. They're crying in their beer, and not that I drink beer.
No, it doesn't matter if it's beer, wine, or whatever. It's
Agreed.
it's the motivation, because medicine the doctor's going to prescribe to you could do the same thing than everything else. But when you start getting into that, like for me, I was on so many different medications, from Dilaudid to Cymbalta to ketamine, all at the same time. Imagine all that. That's like, a concoction for disaster.
So I have a really acute question regarding medication, because I'm on like 5 different things myself because of the strokes that I've been on. So you can well imagine what they put me on.
Yeah.
So it would be Lipitor, but it'd be something else because Lipitor is so expensive that they have alternative drugs, stuff like that. But so I'm on that, and I'm on diabetic medication. I'm taking um, whatever it's called.
You
So
got a mixture too, like I
yeah,
had.
yeah,
And
I've got a few things.
but everybody's different, and I don't want to say, okay, yes, it's everybody's got their own concoction that they're on, and their own mindset that they're in currently. It's a
Yes.
matter of it's a matter of going past that a little bit, though, and saying, what can I do? Not what can everybody else do for me, but what can I do to help myself through the mental aspect of it, especially the mental. And when you start to come off of a medication, and I did this I was emailing my doctor. So instead of, I had a good relationship with my doctor. He knew that I was at the highest level of pain. And he even told me, I cannot help you anymore other than putting you into a facility and medicating you. Or you're going to a wheelchair. So I had to I had a personal choice. What am I going to do to be able to get past all this? And I think it's step by step. You have to look at where your health is, what the problems are. I mean, yes, I did reduce a ton of meds. I mean, if you just look at ketamine, I mean, if you do a Google search for ketamine, that is what people actually used in the war for, like, when they got blew up on their shoulder or whatever, leg gone. Okay, ketamine is that level. It's like, okay, how,
Gotcha.
how do you come from that level down? It really goes back into the psyche. If you can get your head right somehow, you can actually ask the right questions to the right people, and then come back and say, okay, is this for me? Or is it not? Because not everything people are going to say is going to be correct. I mean, we don't know with medicine. It's like we just listen and they prescribe and we take, and now we have to deal with what we've done. Now, how do we take control of our not our company, but how do you treat that and bring back to the realization of us? How do we
So,
take us?
so I'm going to take you on a little mental journey, and you're going to um,
Cool.
feel a little bit of a tug with your senses here. So I think it is all the same. I think that medicine, science, facts, and intuition, spirituality, I think they are all indivisible. So to me, it's not like I only believe in medicine. Of course, I don't. I'm more of a spiritualist. But I do. But do I not believe in medicine because I'm a spiritualist? No, I'm on 5 meds. I believe that one of the reasons that I'm on meds is that I, in essence, prayed for a way to heal myself, and the meds come into the picture and at least stabilize me so I can take the next step. But they're not the solution to my problems. They're just something that I'm using in the interim to keep me there and to manifest what I'm going to manifest. But I do believe that we all manifest what our experience is. So you believe this concept. What I get from you is that you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it.
Not always, but yes, that's my whole thing. You can, but within realization.
Yeah, but realization is what you believe, right? I mean, realization, we're talking about this is what I believe. And
I
so
can
many
go,
people,
I can go walk 6 miles today at the zoo, but is that real? Probably not when I'm doing only 10,000 to 14,000 steps. But would I enjoy that? Yes. Would I regret that? Probably. And I'd probably take 2, 3 days off of work because of my pain.
so
Because
here's the journey. Here's the journey, William. Right now, you believe that you could probably do the miles, but you will suffer because of that. That is the rudimentary belief in what you're structuring.
sorry.
And,
Yes, you're right.
and yet someone else with a similar condition might think, um, maybe I won't feel any pain today because I believe in miracles, and they might be manifesting that. And then if they actually take the walk and they don't feel any pain at the end of the day, they're going to go, "Wow, I had a miracle." And other people are going to look at this and say, "Well, I can't explain it. I guess they had a miracle." But the difference between the two of you will be your thinking. And when we try to adjust our thinking, we reach beyond what we think we know. Because we don't come close, dude. We don't come close to what is real or what reality is. And when people say, you got to face reality, it's like, what are you talking about? You have no idea what reality is. And when we reach that, it's like, it's not about reality. It's like molding your reality. It's all to do with fundamentally deciding what you believe in.
Yeah.
And what the world religions talk about is you've got to have faith. You've got to believe. You got to believe that something's possible. But even the people that don't attach themselves to a specific faith will all achieve the same thing. They come to this point where it's like all things are possible. Anything is possible. You can do anything that you put your mind to. So now, why do they achieve the same conclusion without steering themselves past God or going through the religious route? Because the universe is built the same, whether you believe in Christianity or Buddhism or whoever else and whatever else you believe in. The universe is still the universe the way it was created.
Yes. Well, and I think to answer that, Roland, is basically we don't know.
We don't know.
Everybody's individual, and a good rabbi told me as I asked him a few questions that he couldn't answer. It was like you just have to believe. It's faith, and you know what? It goes back into our personal life too. If we don't believe that we can do it, then we're never going to achieve it.
Absolutely. The CBAs of success: conceive it, believe it, achieve it.
And that's exactly what happens in business, right?
Yep. Yep.
Same thing with an entrepreneur. We're mindset to do those same functions, even though we have disabilities. That doesn't stop us. Our disabilities is not going to crutch us. It was for me a long time ago as a crutch, not a crutch for the fact I didn't know the direction I was going to end up being. Okay, yes, 2012, I took a turn to the negative. I I
I did too.
I took all the medications. I was trying to believe in the doctors and this, but I wasn't expressing myself to the doctors either. They just saw the outcome and they didn't know how to cure the outcome. But if I was to do it now, where I understood the outcome and understood where I was to where I am now I can communicate to the doctors, no, I don't want that. I don't think I need that, but please look at me as a candidate to reduce this versus no, you can't reduce this. But if you do reduce this, what is the actual consequence? Like for heart medicine, I was not on heart medicine. So I don't know what the consequences for that is. But I knew what the consequences of coming off of Dilaudid was. And that's 30 to 60 days of pure hell.
Oh, I can imagine.
But because I was under supervision of a doctor where I could send him an email and say, hey, I'm feeling, or my wife could send him an email and saying simple things like, oh, he's experiencing this, have this, and this, or bring it back to a half a dose. Little things like that where it's like, okay, he's coming off it too fast. And that's where a lot of chronic pain patients actually, I think, have the hardest time is, okay, how do I come off of some of this stuff? Because I don't feel like I'm addicted to it. But yet when you're on it for so many years, your body's used to it.
Right.
And then when you suddenly stop that, all sorts of different things change. My heart rate went up, my anxiety went up, all sorts of different. It's like, okay, is this normal, doctor? And if you can work with your doctor and say, is this normal? I'm having this problem. Boom. Now you can move to the next level. And I think that's a lot of people I consult with chronic pain, they're always against the nurses. They're always against the doctors because they're in so much pain. It's expected. But at the same time is they're there to help.
Yeah.
And if you get on their case and you get them on the bad side, you might not have the best care. But if you can get them on the right side, and it's like everything we can do on the show, make everybody happy, give them the communication. At the same time as these nurses and doctors, they just need to know, hey, what is this? Is this real or is this not real? How can we work with the medications? How do we work with the pain, the therapists, all those different things in your plan? Hey, you got me on a chatterbox again.
It's all right. Um, I wanted to comment that the big difference between what you're dealing with and what I am dealing with is I'm not in pain. I mean, I've got the silent pain. I've got the whole the whole disability thing. Like I used to do that, and now I can't. And then if I were to declare that and say I am no longer going to walk, then of course I'm determining my own future. I have specific examples of how some people were hemiplegic like I am and came back to walking like 4 years later.
And you never know.
4 years. You just never know. And the human body has a what they call a biological blueprint. I believe this.
Hmm.
That's basically embedded in our genes and embedded in our cells. And the body follows what we intend with our mind and our spirit. So that if we intend to walk again, the universe finds a way to guide that along and the body corresponds.
The
But if
brain
we're,
helps, yeah. We
yeah,
figured it out.
yeah, and we can totally do it, but we have to believe that it's possible. As soon as we believe it's possible, we can look around for opportunities. And sometimes it's medicine, sometimes it's therapy, sometimes it's just the miracle. And so, whatever the case is, I know I'm going to walk again. I know that I'm going to play the guitar again. But
Sure.
I just got to live in the belief. And when I finally figured that out, I decided we got to do a 30-day challenge. And we have to use things like the sound therapy that Shira brings to the table. And we have to use the positive thinking and positive affirmations. And we have to construct something because if people do this for 30 days, they're going to see results.
And they're focused. I mean, you can even look at one of the therapies I've done, Roland, and that's called cold laser therapy. When I go to my chiropractor, the first thing that I do every week with my chiropractor is I go on the massage table. So it's just roller bed, but that loosens my muscles up, right, to be allowing the chiropractor to really actually touch me, because the doctor could never actually touch me, my knees, wherever was actually affected by the CRPS. Now they're doing that plus cold. I mean, I've been doing cold laser for about a year and a half now. But everybody's
Wow.
like, oh, 20 minutes, or sorry, they do it for a month, maybe a couple of sessions or one session each week. They're like, oh, this doesn't do anything. But if you go back into what cold laser therapy actually is and how it works, and it regenerates the dead or removes the dead cells to rejuvenate to recell, you go back into neurotherapy and you go, oh, well, if I could do that, wow, what can I do? Oops, sorry. Sorry. And so when you start looking at that, though, Roland, it's like even me, I got all these different things firing. But when the doctors or they do cold laser, they do it on my entire nervous system. So it's not just one
Wow.
affected area. I get treated from my neck down my spine, down my arms, to my wrists, to my legs, to my feet. And what changes is the opportunity for the nervous system, which you're going down the spinal column with all your nerves and even the sympathetic nerves on your legs. Now you're actually trying to rebuild the growth of cellular, dead cells go out, they just come out of your skin. People don't realize that, but it's just like, okay, you're gonna shed
That's what
but
this cold laser
cold laser,
process does.
it's
I've
a
never heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
well, I'll teach you more about that later. But cold laser is something that I found, even like right now, one of my last treatments that I'm actually working to go and undergo is oxygen therapy, which is under a just like a scuba diver. So you would go into the compressed
Right.
tank, right? And so you have it's 45 sessions, and they've been able to do everything from brain injuries to spinal cord. I mean, the list goes on of curing opportunities, and it's not really curing; it's helping the body to regrow certain things that was missing. It's just
That sounds like the hyperbaric chamber.
it is, and it's
Okay.
there's basically a couple different well, not a couple. There's been an expansion of that technology recently because before I was going to actually undergo a therapy called um, ketamine infusion therapy,
Hmm.
and so that would put me in a coma for 2 weeks,
Whoa.
medicated coma for 2 weeks. And what that would normally do with CRPS or RSD at the time was to put it into submission. And so basically you would have a break from pain. And so far that therapy has been good for so many, but my doctor has actually advised against it and going to the oxygen stuff. But that's both of those treatments are not covered by insurance.
Oh, I see.
So you're going to end up having, like, even the oxygen stuff, I think it's going to run me about $10,000 for 45 treatments.
Wow.
But, you know, after all the different things that I've already done to now where I'm at, I believe that I can actually show some of these doctors that there's actually, because I geek out on technology, right? Most of the time. But what I've done for so many years is also had to geek out on myself. Okay, what can I learn from these doctors? And what can I learn from their mentors? And then at the same time is, do I have an opportunity between all that information or do I not? Most people don't have that capability, but me, I just try to, you know me. I don't have to explain.
You're a unique one, William. That's for sure. Which leads me to the question that I wanted to ask you for the last half hour.
Sorry.
I,
Yes.
no, 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 it's all right. It's just convincing me more and more. Sometime in April or sometime soon, we should have you on the What is the Positive show and talk about your journey
Yeah, I'd like that. I think that that'll help a lot of people.
because they already know you're all as you say geeked out and you're helping people in the SEO world and AdWords and all the different things uh, technology wise and internet marketing wise. You
Sure.
help people in pretty much in depth, but nobody knows the person behind the voice really. It's the same way you didn't know I was in a wheelchair. You're in your own wheelchair, so to speak, dealing with your own journey, and I think it would be very inspiring for people to hear what you do, and then to relate to you again and say, "Wow, that's what this guy's going through. I knew this about him, I knew that about him, but I did not know that." And you know,
I would love to actually do that with you, Roland. And that's, I hadn't gotten a chance really to see or watch the show. What is the pause? I've watched some of the other ones in replay, but not being able to participate live with you. And every time we do, even Saturday, morning Smarties, it's like, oh my goodness, I haven't been able to do a lot of those, but I really enjoy watching them. It's like, wow, you're just adding so much. And like you said, I didn't know you were in a wheelchair. You mentioned that just recently, I think. And so I was like, wow, it brings back to the whole realism of people. We are what we are. We are smart, and then we also have a disability that most people don't realize.
if one person watches the show during the course of my year and says, "I didn't know Roland was in a wheelchair," and then they start realizing I've done a lot of this from this wheelchair. I built up this show from this wheelchair, and then they're going to say, "Well, shit, if he can do it, I can do it."
Yeah,
And it,
it's a
and if it changes a little bit of vibration so that the people engage in the positive side, then I've done my job for the year. if I've affected someone to try a different thing and expand out, then that's what I'm all about.
Well, and that's what makes us different. We're trying to help, and it doesn't matter with or without a disability. We're still educated. Our mind is still here. We can still do things, even if it's from home. And I can't fly across the United States like I used to. And it's like, at the same time as we're just us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got to let you roll. It's already 1:30, but it's been a fantastic.
I'm so glad you jumped in. By the way, how did you find out that we were live? Because I've only actually invited
I
10 people.
I saw your post.
Ah,
So I
yeah.
had just gotten finished with a health walk and was coming in, and you were on my wall, and I'm like, wait, he's live. I got to watch this. I didn't have anything else scheduled.
Well, thank you, William. I appreciate that. Just even the to recognize the impulse that you would watch versus not
Well,
not watch.
no, no, that's not the same. It's everything. Like, I am afraid to talk about my disability sometimes because people judge me first because my disability, not because of what I have SmartWise, and that's where the difference comes. I think it's just how do we keep going, even though somebody goes, oh man, he can't climb a ladder. Well, yeah, I can't do cable anymore. You know, but at the same time as I have a different skill to offer,
Yeah,
just like you're.
agreed.
So, but I've got to go. But
Okay,
thanks again.
sounds good. Thank you very much. And we'll talk about the possibilities of when we can have you on the What is the Positive show. We'll get down to
With
this
the camera.
challenge. Yeah. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. So thank you very much, William. I appreciate you joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye. So we just completed an hour and a half program here with Misty Lynn popping in with no voice at all and typing us messages. And then unexpectedly, William Rock joining us and sharing part of his story and sharing ideas regarding dealing with life and recovery and healing. And it's been very exciting. So I'm very fortunate to have these friends. And thank you for joining me and helping me out on this journaling session for a 30-day challenge. A lot more is happening during this 30-day challenge than just the results of the challenge. It's actually there other areas of my life are transforming and opportunities abound. It's like when you start thinking expansively and abundantly, it includes everything because of the vibration is expansive and abundant, and that's what you're tuning yourself to, and filling that space, you get more attraction to things that are like in kind. So abundance breeds abundance, and it's coming into my life. So I just that's my journaling session for today. Thank you for visiting us on the What is the Positive interim shows in between the Tuesday show. And other than that, we'll see you Sunday as we do this again. We'll have a coffee break. Thanks a lot. See you then.